up? Nice to be back.
Yeah, good to be here.
Yeah. We took a quick little
What's up?
2-week break.
A little hiatus.
Which was unintentional.
Nope.
Which is ironic.
Trying to be intentional out here.
Yeah. But I think this could be a good episode to talk about. I think I also saw some comments on the van life episode about just doing like a general update.
Yeah.
In life.
Well, yeah. Well deserved, I think. Yeah. For sure.
But also, it's Thanksgiving this week.
That it is.
Wow. We've made it.
Exciting times.
To holiday season.
Yeah. What? Well, I mean, holiday season, like, I feel like starts like with like Halloween almost.
Yeah. So here's, definitely Halloween.
Is that a personal opinion or like do other people think that? I've always wondered.
I don't know.
Because I feel like holidays people really associate.
No, yeah, it like starts to swing. I honestly see it as back to school season. Like that's when like life starts to get cheery typically.
Like fall.
In any other year that's not this time, this specific,
this one.
2020. Yeah. I feel like, usually it's like September rolls around and it's this whole energy of like we're primed to like start new things, back to school season. Right. Like even once I'm out of school, I've always felt like September was like the you definitely hold on to that. You definitely hold on to like that school cycle is like me? Ingrained in you. I don't know. I think I might have like let it go a little bit more, but I totally get and feel what you're saying. But I feel so disconnected to the school system at this point that it's just like it's hard. This plant is poking my head right now.
getting a little head tickle from a little palm
That's
tree.
Exactly what's going on. I have noticed too. Sometimes I'll be editing the episodes and I see in the video, I'm like, I really didn't notice that straight up like entire leaf was just on my forehead the entire podcast.
Yeah.
So for an hour,
that'll happen.
Does it?
We are one with the plants.
Even though
plants.
This specific plant hates me, but that's a story for another day.
No, you're working on it.
Yeah,
making moves.
But am I that? I think I do hold on to, I don't know, like this whole scholastic system. Just like
it's ingrained for sure.
Because 18 years of your life.
Yeah. But then even that, and then afterwards, like
I feel like we've referenced it though in some sort in every single episode. Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is incorporated into so many different parts of life. But I was even going to say it then once you're like, if you decide to have a family, then you're like, boom.
Once again.
Boom. Right back in. Back to school season.
Right.
Is fall. Yeah. Like that's what fall means.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. It's prominent. It's around.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, it's these holidays are happening now.
These holidays. What do you mean by these holidays?
Well, I was saying that I feel like holiday season starts in October. Yeah. So
I also so I feel like we've hit, especially because we started the podcast in like this whole like since back to school, like the whole October situation. Every episode we've really like mentioned a holiday in every episode. If you've noticed that,
it's the season,
right? And so last week, Shelby and I recorded an episode together, and we still referenced it, like literally every episode,
coming in hot, and then it's about to be the New Year.
And oh my gosh, I remember going out for New Year's last year.
Yeah,
like it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we were all like in our 1920s spirits. I don't think we went to like
I wore this jacket.
You did.
I honestly don't know if I've worn it since New Year's Eve.
To be fair, it got warmer at some point in the year. So there were a few months where you just didn't need it at all.
Exactly. Right. And then
it's a pretty fierce jacket, might I say.
I love it. You can do so many things with it. Dress it up, dress it down, live your life.
Leopard print.
Leopard.
I feel like, so we went to like a 1920s party for New Year's, as did most people, and everyone was like, the Roaring 20s, this is gonna be a great year.
Ain't it?
Ain't it? But as I was saying, we've referenced it in every episode, and I feel like I've made a point in a few of the episodes now to say that I am not huge into decorating for the holidays, or just haven't been.
Right.
And I've had a revelation.
Ooh.
This might actually be my highlight of the week. Okay. If we want to jump into that.
All right, yeah. Hit me with it.
I really want to get into decorating. Well, so okay,
Yeah,
here's my
I
highlight
feel
of the
that.
week, just to get that out of the way. I officially found my first Christmas present yesterday.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Big
time.
I've definitely the brain's been ticking, but no outcomes yet. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well,
But
you
yes.
got time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've decided, in any other year, decorating for Christmas in October is like
Too much. That's too much.
Granted, we're in November. What's the date today? It's like the 19th maybe as we're recording this.
Something like that.
Yeah, decorating in October for Christmas, or decorating like the first week of November, like the minute Halloween is over, people are decorating.
Yeah.
Too
Overwhelms
soon.
me.
Too soon.
Yeah.
But this year, I think that the cheeriness is needed.
Have you noticed that it happened this last weekend?
Yeah, people have really been decorating.
I'm like, I walk all the time, and so I definitely noticed, like, quite literally this past weekend, people were like, we gon' get our cheer on. And like inside the homes, outside the homes, like I'm seeing Christmas trees.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm seeing it all.
Like all the holidays, like we need everyone, no matter what you celebrate, like bring it out now, because this is the year.
Just
Decorate
like
early,
do
have
things
your
to
time.
make you feel cozy.
Exactly.
That's what I feel.
And I think like up until about a week ago, my perspective was like, you guys are doing this too soon. Like I was just like, no. But now I'm like,
yeah,
bring it on.
I've been thinking about getting the colored lights out. Just to like give it that cozy feel in the home.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. Brett really is into, his thing every holiday is he loves those like lights that you put in your lawn that like display.
Oh my gosh, I forgot that about him.
It's like a ball that moves and puts like things on the entire house.
Outdoor decoration.
He loves it so much.
The light show.
It's a whole light show, and it's just one light that he puts in front, but he loves them so much that when I met him, his first house, he kept them up at least until the spring.
Yeah, it's
every
a party
night. And he would like get home and he'd be like, oh, it's my time to turn my light on.
He has to turn the lights on.
And I'm like, it's February. And it turns the whole house into like a snow globe.
Yeah.
No, he loves it. And to the point where he tried to install it in our room at some point this year.
I support that.
It was a bit much. I felt like, see, on the outside it was fine, but on the inside it felt like I was
really,
my bedroom was a fishbowl.
Yeah, totally.
It was. Yeah, I made him take it down.
It's fun for like maybe sometimes, but like definitely not an all the time situation.
But if he could have it anyway, it would be an every day.
He would. Yeah.
Anyways, what's your highlight of the week? Just to jump in.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, my highlight of the week is something I'm actually very excited about, and I have been learning how to weld. And I
kind of do. I think.
Yeah. It's just really cool to like learn a new skill, and it's something that I've like wanted to do for a while now, but it's definitely something that you like need to have access to in order to learn how to do it. You need to have all of the materials, and that costs a whole lot of money, or an education, going to a trade school for it, or you need to know someone, and I conveniently am dating someone who has the ability to teach me how to weld. So we've been doing that, and it's been really fun. And
what have you been making?
Well, straight lines is the goal right now.
Nice.
Which it's really hard.
Right.
But I will say I've only gone like 3 or 4 days now, and every single day I've seen like significant improvement.
Nice.
And like even just feeling the improvement. Like the first day was like frustrating as all hell, as I knew it was going to be, but like it was just mind-boggling how like I literally could not get it to start. Like you have to, there's like multiple, I could talk about this for way too long now at this point. But there are multiple different types of welding that you can do. And one is stick, and then one is like with a torch. Like you see like the torch people, like that's like,
I'm picturing like the helmet.
Always need the helmet
down,
so that you
torch.
protect the eyeballs.
Right.
Okay. So the one that I'm doing doesn't have a torch right now. So that's like the easier way to do it. And like if you want to like learn the way that you can like most optimize your skills, like you learn how to do the hard one first and then learn the easier technique. So I am
so you do it backwards?
Yeah. Well, like, you know, to like be like a super efficient person. It's not like the proper way or anything. Like there's no written rules. Like you could learn just how to MIG weld rather than stick weld or TIG weld. There's 3 different types.
Okay. What's the difference between those types?
so MIG is the one with the torch.
Okay.
Which like involves like pretty much like a machine does all of the work for you, except you have to like do the physical labor of laying down the bead. But then with stick welding, which is what I'm learning right now, is you like hold quite literally like an electrode stick, and then you have to like you just tap the metal in the way that they react to each other. Like there's a positive and negative.
Okay.
And so the way that it just reacts with each other is they spark. And so like in order to weld, like you have to like push the stick as you're like making the line.
Oh, okay.
You know? So with the torch, there's a wire inside that just automatically feeds.
Right.
So you're the wire feeding.
Right.
With the stick welding. And then TIG welding is a whole nother devil where you're using two different hands and like at the same time, like, yeah.
Gotcha.
Even more complicated. Yeah. So,
wow, look at you. Fast learner over here.
Well, fast
Welding.
learner. I mean, that also dives into what we're going to chat about a bit today.
Right.
But I'm not that fast of a learner because I spent 2 weeks of watching YouTube videos on how to weld. I have seen quite a lot of Bob Moffat on
Who's Bob Moffat? See, a welding YouTuber.
Yeah, from weld.com.
Okay.
But also, it's
Great domain. How did he get that?
How
did he get that URL? Wow.
I actually was thinking about you quite a lot while this was happening because we watched so much YouTube. Like we watched so many YouTube videos, but the YouTube videos were of these like adult men who are craftsmen.
I was just thinking too,
and they had to get into like becoming an influencer pretty much. Like they're like these 50-year-old men who are now like learning how to set up tripods and like have like very professional YouTube pages. Like they're very like well done YouTube pages. And like the one Essential Craftsman is like the true, like he's really awesome if anyone is interested in craftsman work in welding. Essential Craftsman is an incredible man. No, he's like just his life lessons. He literally is life lessons, but like while incorporating welding, contracting work, like just creating anything.
What I love. Literally, that's what I love about YouTube is that like you can find anything you want. You can niche down in anything you want and like just create, but also help people, and also just like when people think of YouTubers, they often think of like the beauty bloggers and like the makeup gurus and all of that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But there's just
so
so expansive.
Yeah.
And incredible. Like, you know, you can be passionate about one thing, but then also learn how to like film videos and edit and like, you know, do the whole thing and magic.
It's just like another skill to learn and grow with.
Right.
But so
so what are your end goals with learning how to weld? Like, so you've already, the first thing you guys did was you built that planter. Or was that mostly?
Well, he did all the physical welding with that. Yeah, Harley did all of that. But I like designed it, and I like I did grinding and stuff like that. So like it's some metal work that I did, but it was like the very basic, like you know, sanding.
You'll have to send me a picture of it, and I can put it on the screen here. A picture of it. They built this like cool planter for the front of their their driveway to put like garden.
We put basil and whatnot in it over the summer,
and it was beautiful. Like I had passed it a couple times on my way over to your place, and I was like, I thought that you guys had purchased this item.
Yeah,
not to say that like you can't build something that's like gorgeous, but you know what I mean? Like when you buy something, it's like made from a machine that, you know, they're all cookie cutter. Like they just look.
That's very kind of you because it's very like there's a bit of a Mod Podge to it, which we purposely made, but which is super cool because it was all scrap metal. It was all leftover stuff that Harley just had from previous jobs and whatnot, and so we were able to just like
make something beautiful out of it,
put things together, and it looks so good.
It looks really good. Like I want one.
Yeah, well, we can make you one, girl.
Nice. And then now you're making.
Well,
or is it done yet?
No, we just have like assorted projects and like projected projects, but like right now we're working on a wood burning stove. Well, he's really working on it because it's so that we can stay warm in the workshop,
right,
while we create the projects,
right.
And not have to like pay for propane and like, you know, heating services.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he has the ability to just create a wood burning stove from nothing in his brain. So good on him. And
amazing.
We're going for it. I mean, it looks so dope so far. We're using tubes. It looks like
because I saw the tubes. I saw you posted a picture, and I can put this picture up on the screen too, maybe of like, it was just like a bunch of tubes sitting in a circle, and I was like, how is that going to be a wood burning stove? And I was like, what is a wood burning stove? And I had to like think about it for a minute, and then I realized, right.
You're like, right. It looks like one of those, are they called like organs in churches? Those giant organs in churches. It kind of looks like that aesthetically. But it's going to be where the tubes open are going to be facing like outward.
Okay.
And then there's going to be a door.
Right.
Where like the wood and stuff goes in. And then, it's going to just like generate heat. There's air and stuff involved, a chimney, of course. And then it's going to blow hot air out of the tubes.
Gotcha.
Like out into the room. It's gonna be
super cool.
It's gonna be so cool.
Super cool.
It's heavy as all hell. It is so heavy.
I mean, I believe that.
And we haven't even like so many more things need to be added onto it, and it's gonna be a heavy boy, but I think we'll make it work, obviously. But we're looking to do like furniture and stuff. I think Harley is also like partially trying to like monetize this, and like, you know, like so he can create a portfolio and then just like put it up on Craigslist and stuff and be like custom work, whatever you need, I can do. So we're just like kind of creating a portfolio right now while I'm like learning and expanding my skills.
Nice.
And super fun.
Very fun.
Going to be a nice little winter.
So not to change topics too drastically, but why, might I ask, were you inside watching YouTube videos for 2 weeks?
Oh, funny you should say that. You mean from 10 days to 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
That's
exactly
that time frame. So your girl got the Covey.
The Covey Cove.
Should I reintroduce that? I don't know.
No, we're just gonna roll with it.
Yep. So I got the COVIDs and
2020,
and now I had to go into quarantine. But Harley had to. He took a job after school. I don't know if we've already like briefly talked about this or not on the podcast. I can't remember what we've chatted about or not.
I don't think people,
But yes, my partner went to school here in Seattle. We have a commercial diving school. It's called DIT, Dive Institute of Technology.
He's a diver. He's a welder. He's a badass.
Yeah,
honestly,
man of many trades,
many
for
skills.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's like the tip of the iceberg. So he went to school for commercial diving and just recently graduated a couple months ago. And he was just like taking work here, like doing construction, welding, fabricating stuff. And then an opportunity presented himself in like a very quick moving manner where decisions just needed to be made at like
extremely quickly, like within a day,
blink of an eye, pretty much. And so he ended up accepting this job, and the job just happened to be traveling in the Midwest. And as it is very well documented, the state he was in, like southern Idaho, northern Utah, like Colorado and Wyoming, and Washington and Oregon, and pretty much no one is abiding to any sort of COVID protocols out there. Like as a whole, obviously there's individuals everywhere partaking in proper protocols,
and I'm sure different pockets of different states are doing things differently, but
for the most part, where he was in like quite literally the middle of nowhere areas, just very desolate. There was not a lot of protocols. No one was wearing masks, and it
is crazy. Like when you go to, we're just used to our own city, right? And so like you might be listening to, and like you're also used to your own city. So like what Seattle does is just normal, and then once we leave and I go to other places, it's like, you know, there's some things going on, and then like you can see there's some places where like you wouldn't even know that anything was going on.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely,
not that I've been everywhere because I've pretty much just been here, but I'm just saying, like,
here in the United States, there's definitely drastically different reactions, like from coast to coast. And it's very weird because, like, we all only really know our own realities of our specific areas because, like you said, we're not really supposed to be traveling to
also,
all the places. So
we
it's
haven't had much communication top down, you know, like certain things. Like,
oh no, of course that's the root of the problem. It's
hard to know what you can and can't do when, like, things that you could otherwise have done pre-pandemic are still available to do.
Yeah,
is the problem.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
It's like how I felt about it is that and we'll get into like my recent story later, but like I feel like I'm a kindergartner walking around waiting for the teacher to tell me what to do, if I'm honest. Like, I kind of hear things here and there, like my parents tell me some things and like it's mentioned, but there's no, like, nobody's telling me what to do. Like, I need to be told.
I feel you.
Like, I have common okay, maybe I'm older than a kindergartner, maybe I'm like a 5th grader. Like, I know I have some common sense, but
I feel like you do know what to do though, like because you educate yourself and you have all the knowledge. It's just a matter of like feeling the societal pressures.
Sometimes I don't have all the knowledge until later. Like, in theory, I'm like, I should have all the knowledge, and then I look back and I'm like, oh, I should have known that, but I'm like, I just didn't in that moment put two and two together, right? You know,
which is fair. We're all human. Like, we're all just trying our best and like just doing what we can with the knowledge that we have accumulated. But
anyway, sorry. Yeah. So he took a job.
So anyways, and he took a job.
He was in an area that wasn't following protocols.
Right. And he...
even though it can happen anywhere, you know, you can still be...
Totally. Yeah, no, it totally could. But just like, it was bound to happen just the way that it was out there. And I mean, he also, like, because they were traveling, like they were on the road like every couple of days kind of deal. So he was eating out for most of his meals and like eating inside restaurants and bars, and like he went to bars and like so
which
COVID
it's also
occurred.
I can only imagine, like, it's hard when you're in a setting too where everyone is doing that, like the peer pressure
and he also was like on a 3-person team, and like one of the persons was just didn't, you know, care about COVID and was like, you know, talking to anyone he wanted to talk to, no mask on, and like he was the one that got incredibly sick with COVID and so therefore the 3-person team traveling.
The thing that's really ironic about all of this too is like, you know, you see the protests of wearing masks and stuff that's like my body, my choice, and it's like, okay, but in this instance it's really not.
It's not just your body, it's your body, everyone's bodies around you.
So it's like you can be making all these, you know, doing all these actions, but like your actions are directly contributing to other people's health.
Absolutely. I think that's like the main, like one of the main takeaways of this pandemic is just like also, how much it is not just about like ourselves. Like it is like we have to have a community mindset in order to overcome this pandemic. And I think that is what the problem the United States has had for so long, is that we are not a community based society.
We're very individualistic in comparison to and like also I feel like I'm saying this like I'm like ranting about it, but I'm also like very far from perfect.
For sure. Absolutely.
So he came back.
He came back for multiple reasons, but it just so happened that he started to get symptoms of COVID when he came to the decision that he no longer could work on this job any longer. So he came back with showing symptoms of COVID, and we live together, and it's just me and him in our 2-bedroom home, and very, very difficult time. And I mean, just the respiratory droplets, like they can, that's your eyes, your nose, your mouth, like it's real, it's there. And so I picked them up. That was around 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. And then I went to take Harley to get his test Monday at noon, and it was just one of those walk-up services. So I was like, heck it, I'll get a test for shits and giggies. And
because I wouldn't have thought that the incubation would have been that fast.
I was positive in 18 hours
which
or so.
honestly, because like we've obviously seen each other since we've been doing this podcast, and we've kind of been quarantined together this whole time.
Yeah, you're
really
part of my
the
small
only
circle.
you're really the only person. Like, I mean, we were living together at the beginning of this, so like it just sort of started from the beginning. And so when you said that you tested positive, we obviously got really nervous, and then tested negative. So like we definitely know that you contracted it.
Oh yeah, my friend, I was with our friend Marissa. She was over physically in our apartment, like chilling with me. Yeah, right before I went to the airport to pick them up, and she got a test even before you did. Yeah, and she tested negative. Yeah,
so we know that it was like in that span of like after Harley getting back.
Yeah,
and
yeah. So then,
assuming that both mine and her tests weren't false negatives,
right? No, I think it's definitely pretty safe to say. I mean, I guess we don't know if like you're asymptomatic and it was a negative, but like both of those seem like pretty improbable. And also just the fact that me and Harley got sick at the exact same time and better at the same time. And like, right. Like, we know where it came from. Yeah. Wyoming. But yeah, definitely an interesting. I've experienced the 2020
in full force.
Thought I could skirt on through the end, squeak through the last 2 months, but it's all good. And it was, to be honest, a nice reset in a way. Like, I mean, it was literally 10 days of not being allowed access to the outside world, right? So like you're quite literally forced to be in your own world. Yeah.
I kept thinking, so yesterday we had this incident where they had to cut the power in like the couple houses on our corner because they were like replacing like a power thing. Anyways, so we kind of went into panic mode of like, how are we going to work for the day? What are we going to do? And I kept thinking, so like there were a million options we were playing of like, what are we going to do with our time? Because like we can't, in any other instance, it's like, oh, the power's cut. Like we'll go to somebody else's house and work from there. But like we can't do that right now. We can't go to our parents' house. We're not going to like, I don't know. So we were just, well, first of all, we sat in our car outside of a Starbucks and used their Wi-Fi. Literally, that's what happened.
Christy, but you told me you had it covered.
I know. Anyways,
I told you could come over.
Well, we weren't sure just in case there happens to be like a droplet of it on something.
No way, dog. They're dead at this point, and you don't understand the amount of antibacterial wiping that I do. I mean, I don't know.
Anyways, but I kept thinking, I was like, what if like we had COVID and they cut our power? It was really cold in this house because like it was cut for 8 hours.
Yeah,
so
damn.
It got really cold. But like, what if you were sick and you had to stay in this house and the power was cut? That would suck.
That's like definitely a reality for people. Like this is a pretty large radius of
they actually, I think they only cut like 5 houses worth of power at a time.
Because
they were replacing like one power
at
pole
a time. Like they're hitting all the areas.
Like they're gonna hit some people who definitely are in quarantine.
COVID is skyrocketing right now, so the odds that someone in this region has COVID right now and just got the power taken away, that sucks.
Yeah.
How would we have watched our the luxury YouTube?
How would we watch Netflix? But we do have the luxury of like having an entire house. Like there are many people who are like Harley would have been had you not contracted it, like stuck in their own bedroom for 2 weeks.
A very hard situation. Real. Definitely
very real.
Well,
glad you're here. Glad you're back.
Glad I'm here. I feel like, should I go over my symptoms? I feel like people might be interested. Am I just talking about myself this whole podcast? Hey, everyone.
So basically you test positive, but you didn't feel anything, right?
Well, so Monday, Tuesday, no, I wasn't feeling anything. I got Harley got called immediately that he tested positive. Like I think he was like hella positive. I don't know if that's possible.
I think that there is something to do with like exposure.
Yeah, and also like what you fill out on the form, like they literally ask you like, why are you getting this test right now? So I'm sure he was like, I have COVID. That's why I'm here. And I just was like, I'm exposed. I think I was maybe exposed to someone who maybe. Yeah. So like, I got the call 2 days later, or the results back 2 days later. So I wasn't experiencing any symptoms. So we were like at that point still separate quarantining. And then Wednesday, early in the day, I started to notice that like the back of my neck was aching, and like I was just like a low grade headache back there, like lower neck headache. Which I get, and like I like, you know, and it's definitely the feeling of like, you know, like stressed out feeling, and like, you know, here I am, like my life was like just uprooted for 2 weeks. My partner like had left, and like just like I was like living alone for 2 weeks, adjusting to like being a person.
It was a stressful time.
Like for sure, I was like very much so adjusting to that, and then all of a sudden in a whirlwind, like he's back, and like now I'm co-living with a person again, and not only am I co-living with a person, I'm co-living with a person who has COVID,
right?
And like, yeah, just then all the while all the other life things that I'm trying to like
whole range
juggle,
of emotions.
Yeah, and so I'm like, oh, a little bit of neck stress, like that sounds pretty on par right now,
right?
So I wasn't really thinking too much of it, and yeah, it just kind of persisted, and I was like, it was just achy, but I really wasn't thinking too much of it. And then at like around like maybe like 5 p.m. or so, I was like, maybe I should like check on that COVID test. Like I lost the sheet of paper temporarily. I was like, I couldn't find it, so I didn't know how to check to see what my results were.
Yeah.
And so like I found the paper, and like I literally found the paper, looked up the results, saw that it said positive, and I was like, no fucking way. So like I go to Harley.
I can't believe that, because the incubation period should have in theory been longer, you know?
Well,
or is that just to show symptoms?
The thing is why it is pressed so hard by like scientists and whatnot that there is this large incubation period is because there is so much unknown to the disease. So like for people who don't know where they got, like when they got contracted and where it came from. Right. So like if you're just living and you're not, like for me, I didn't have symptoms for 2 days or 3 days, but I was positive. Right. But like that being said, I knew like, you know, where it came from and whatnot, but other people don't know that. So
you
for
likely
those
knew
days,
you had it too, because there's somebody in your
for those days, people are just existing amongst other people, highly transmittable, but not showing any symptoms. Right. So
I should also preface this with, we're not epidemiologists.
Oh no, we're not epidemiologists, though I do listen to a lot of podcasts. Yeah. A lot of podcasts.
So we're practically experts.
So I'm practically
basically
a scientist. Anyways.
I could probably go to space.
Yeah. I am an astronaut. Yeah. Anyways.
Everything on the internet is real.
Cosmonaut. That's what the Russians call it. Anyways.
That's what the Russians call what?
Astronauts.
Oh, they call them cosmonauts?
Yeah, they're not astronauts in
Russia.
Like
that. I like cosmonaut better.
Yeah. When they like go up in space, that's like they're literally introduced as like cosmonaut blah 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 blah, and then it's like astronaut Taylor Ross.
Because you are one.
Because I am one. I like completely forget where I was going with all this, but I'm back. I'm back. I got the positive result. And yeah, I went into Harley's room, and he was like, hold on, let me get my mask. Like, you know, like scrambling for his mask. And I was like, nope. And yeah, so like we had our moment of like, oh man. And then within like literally 10 minutes, I got the phone call, and they're like, hey, you're positive. And I was like, oh. And they just like gave the lowdown of you know, what you're supposed to do, not leave the house. Yeah. Super cool. Here in Seattle, they like let us know that there's like a grocery service should we need like
yeah, that was our delivery concern, you know, like, yeah, how should you guys luckily have like the sliding doors in the front, so like we could, like, people can easily just come drop stuff off.
Yeah,
but we
definitely.
were like, you know, we can do anything you need, like we'll be there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, so then once I tested positive, we were told like obviously we're allowed to quarantine together, and that our quarantine times, because like they're slightly different, like he was infected earlier, so technically his quarantine was allowed to end earlier than my quarantine was allowed to end. But that being said, he was like allowed to leave the house and come back and do whatever even while I was still quarantining, and like he wouldn't transmit it to anyone else because his time frame of being capable of transmitting.
And it's not that
has ended.
like I think there have been a very, very few number of cases of people who have contracted it and then contracted it again, but it's very
so
very,
rare,
very,
yeah,
very
from
few.
what I've seen. So like now I'm like, am I immune? Like, am I
am I a superhero?
I might be. So
no, yeah, but I think one of the things that we were talking about is like the importance of, if you have tested positive and like you do recover, still wearing your mask in public and like doing all the things. Yeah. Not only because like you can obviously very well like still, you know, in the odd chance contract it, but like definitely like setting the precedent and that whole cultural thing of just like, if you're in a culture of people not doing it, then like other people aren't going to do it, and you know. Definitely. I think it's still really important.
I've been making it a thing to be as adamant as I was beforehand. And like I was even like wearing my mask when I was like completely by myself walking outside by the dogs. Like I just like, I'm like, this, what does it matter? It's really not that big of an inconvenience like at all. I'm just gonna put this on my face and it's fine. And it is. Yeah. Especially now that it's cold, it like actually keeps my face super warm. We don't get to have beards.
About that advantage. We have beards this year. They're called masks.
Yes. Dude, for real.
Face warmers,
it's
actually.
Real. It is real. I'm very happy about it.
I like it because I don't have to wear makeup. Yeah. Not that I had to before, but
I was gonna say I don't really see.
I double don't have to now.
I really don't.
I really don't have to.
I don't do anything.
Well, and also like even if I'm going in a setting where, you know, I might. Well, I guess I'm not really going in many settings where I might interact with people.
No.
Yeah, I really haven't had a need at all this year.
No, I love not wearing makeup.
But
it's the best.
In the odd chance that I would have that need, I really, you know, I'm like, I'm not going to put anything on because you can only see my eyes.
Well, yeah, but also like that's like, how
even if I were to like,
you see it though, like because you see wearing makeup as like, do I need to wear it or not? But like there's some people out here just like love wearing makeup and like
for sure. No, I definitely enjoy putting it on. I'm not saying that I don't. Yeah. But if I were the only time I do feel like I need to is when I'm meeting somebody for the first time. That's still something that I struggle with. I feel like I need to make good first impressions. Yeah, like if I were to like like if somebody was like, I'm going to introduce you to so and so, my friend, out of COVID, obviously. I still feel the need to, even if it's somebody that I'm never going to see again. Yeah, I still feel the pressure to put makeup on and like look.
Yeah, I mean, it's just however makes you feel your best, and if that's like, you know, something that
I also just am really helps. Socially awkward too. So yeah, it does help in like just making me feel a little bit more at ease, I guess. You know, like I've got one less thing to like something in my hair, sure, because I've looked at it in advance.
Okay, I see. What
I
you're
don't
saying.
know. Yeah. Anyways, working on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so we're I started talking about my symptoms, and now we're talking about makeup.
Now we're here. That might have been me hijacking it.
No.
Okay. So you felt a slight headache.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, pretty much my symptoms were just started off with these aches, started off with a neck ache and low grade headache. Mm-hmm. Then pretty much like right when I decided to check if I had it or not, I like noticed that my lower back was aching and I was like, this is getting more suspicious now. Right. If my neck is aching and my back is aching, like there's no reason that my back should be aching. Like I haven't done more exercise than normal, like, you know, kind of deal. Yeah. So I was like, skedio. So yeah, the back aches turned into like definitely pretty real. But that being said, while that was happening, I wasn't experiencing any other symptoms. So my main first symptom was body aches, just like deep body aches. My kidneys so bad, just
there's
achy,
nothing worse than kidney pain.
Laying on a couch feeling aches. Yeah. But like no other sickness, just felt like a normal person, regular, just confined into a house. Yeah. So that went on for like a couple days or so.
All?
No coughs, no congestion, no fever. Yeah. Yeah, and then eventually it developed into my next symptom that I got was just like pressure in my head. But again, then I didn't have any other symptoms. Like I wasn't congested or like feeling sinus pain or whatever. It just was like pressure. Like it just felt.
Was it like a headache?
Not a headache. Literally pressure. Like just like felt like my head being squeezed. all
like
the time.
on the sides instead of like typically a headache would be, because you can get pressure headaches, but I guess they're more.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I wasn't in pain. It just felt like on my sinuses, on my forehead, my temples, my sinus, nose. Like it just was like, I feel pressure.
Yeah.
Which then eventually led into like actual like sinus pain and congestion. But I was never like hacking up along, like I wasn't coughing endlessly or like even like blowing my nose endlessly or anything like a common cold. It just was like all stuck up in there, and then when I would lay down it would feel like that feeling when you like jump into water and water rushes up your nose and you're just like in your sinuses. I got that feeling like so regularly. Like that was my other like main symptom, was this sinus pressure.
Right.
And then eventually, like when I had like the congestion sinus pressure happening, like my aches subsided. And yeah, that was primarily it. I had like some like tummy issues, bathroom issues, but like not the absolute worst. But yeah, that's like pretty much what my whole experience was like. Harley was definitely worse than me. He experienced the symptoms a lot harder. He had a lot more of the respiratory stuff. Like he got winded like just having conversations on the phone, and like, or we would be like cooking and he'd be like, I can't do that, like I need to sit down. Like his energy would like all of a sudden like turn off and like he wouldn't be able to do things. And it's really interesting how random the disease really is, like how it hits people differently. Like it's very different for literally everyone. Yeah, with like some common underlying, like I know like the aches are pretty standard of like being at the beginning of. You guys lost your taste too, didn't you? Oh yeah, we lost our taste. Harley fully lost his taste. Mine was like a bit more selective, but like at the peak of when I was like really congested and having sinus stuff, like I fully lost it as well. Did both of you get it so back? Weird. Yes, I think Harley has his back. Mine is completely back for sure.
But I feel like I've heard of cases of people saying that they just like months, never.
They from what we were told is that it always comes back, but for some people it literally takes like many months. Yeah.
Weird. Well, when you got your test results back, didn't she say that you could still test positive had it been in your system for like the last
90 days. So we were actually told like once we tested positive, like the initial time, the first people that contacted us were like, just you don't need to get another COVID test again, because like there's a chance that you can test positive up to 90 days, like 3 months after your initial contraction. So like at that point you're just kind of like putting false information out there, and then like, or like forcing yourself to quarantine for so like in theory reasons.
Though 90 days from now would you take another test, or could you?
I think that I would only take another test again if I started experiencing symptoms.
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise what's the point? There's literally no point, and I would just be using up resources that should be going to other people. Right. Yeah. So definitely a pretty crazy time. So that's how I spend my past 2 weeks. Doing that, and then watching The Essential Craftsman.
Did you really think life would come to this?
Yeah, this is not how I expected my November to turn out. No, at all.
This isn't how I expected my year to turn out.
Well, so. No, yeah. I think a lot of people can say the same.
Definitely can. Well, I spent my last 2 weeks doing the polar opposite thing and fucking up like crazy. So,
oh my gosh. We just said that you should not present it in such a light.
Well, anyways, life is what it is, and we're all in this time where we don't know what to do, I guess. And so, okay, here's a little life update, I guess, because so the last episode that we posted, I was talking about van life, and I don't think I fully explained it, because I don't know why I always try to keep these things like somewhat of a surprise, but also because we're still kind of figuring things out. And also I'm not sure I'm legally allowed to explain everything right now, if I'm honest. Just because our living situation is going to be changing, but nothing is like written on paper yet.
Right.
And there are multiple parties involved. Obviously, I do not own the home that I'm
like
living
landlords
in right now.
and homeowners.
There's a landlord and there's a property management company, and then there's us. And we basically found out that we're happy that this is going on, but we're probably going to need to move out of this house sooner than anticipated. And up until a while ago, we thought it was going to be, well, it's still a lot sooner than we expected, but we thought it was going to be like a lot sooner, like in the next couple weeks sooner. But we have a little bit more time than that. But again, nothing's written on paper, so I don't want to like say anything out loud, just because somebody could be very upset with that. And legally,
right.
So we are moving.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. So I've been trying to pitch the idea of van life for a while, as we heard. I also have all these other crazy ideas, but van life seems like the most, well, it's not really the most realistic, but it seems like, it's, I don't know. It's what like
you want the most.
It's what I want the most. So we've been kind of talking about this for a while, and we kind of ended up with this situation where our roommate, who is from Austin, Texas, which was a place where we were considering moving, was going to live at his parents' house for a month, just as a way to like get out of this house and basically quarantine in a different house while his parents weren't there. So we decided to go with him for a week. And while we were there, so I went to Texas for the first time, which
I think we should also clarify, you're saying we, but you mean you and Brett.
Me and Brett.
Not
yes.
me and you,
Sorry. Yes. Me and Brett. Meanwhile, Tay is quarantining in her apartment.
I'm watching Bob Moffat.
So yeah, Texas was one that personally was not necessarily where I want to move, but Brett's kind of, into real estate, and the real estate market there is like a thing. So but that was definitely high on his list, and I'm not going to knock anything.
Yeah. Austin is also different than Texas.
That's true.
Personally.
That's true. I had never been to Texas though also. But we were presented with this unique opportunity where basically we were going to be with somebody who literally we already live with and are quarantined with. And we were going to be there doing the same thing, but in a different state. And he drove there, so his risk was really low. It's obviously a very far drive across the country. So he did stop at a family friend's house, which was empty. And he stayed there overnight and then like kept driving. And I don't know how this boy drives so far, but he
loves it.
He's known for like being this human who loves going on road trips. And, I don't know how he does it all the time, but anyways, or no, I guess not all the time, not this year, but in previous years. Anyways. And so, yeah, we had this unique opportunity to do that. And basically we flew out there. I will say flying on the way there felt very, very safe.
Yeah.
And I have been reassured by people. I'm not encouraging travel. Like, I just want to like say like that was my fuck up. Like also I shouldn't have traveled.
You traveled, but it wasn't during the holidays. Like the pressing
that was
matter
the
right now is
right now
the holiday season.
And so, we got there, and I haven't left Seattle in like 2 years. I haven't gone anywhere in 2 years. And so I was like kind of excited because like I don't do this normally. Like I'm not somebody who's like trying to encourage like extensive travel. It was exciting for me. Last time I left here, I went to go visit my sister on the other side of the country, but I'm not like a travel influencer. Like I'm not jet setting everywhere. But we decided, a couple weeks ago that, we might be moving. Like, let's go check it out. And like, he wanted to potentially buy real estate over there and do stuff like that. So we wanted to like get a scope of the land before we like just up and bought something from virtually, So we kind of felt like we needed to go and had this unique opportunity to stay. And while we were there, I did swing because I have been talking about van life, we stayed in an Airstream for 2 nights.
Cool.
Which was fun. Really, really cool. And also I made sure we did the whole thing socially distanced. We were basically in an Airstream in someone's backyard, but the people who lived at the house whose backyard we were in were not there either. So like we didn't see anyone. And we just stayed in this Airstream. I have now decided that van life's maybe not for me just from a 2-night stay. So again, glad I did that because, you got to experience it a little bit before you invest.
All it takes is 2 nights.
All it takes is 2 nights.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk? No, I mean, I don't know. I would say never say never, but
for it to be your whole life though, like your whole lifestyle.
Right now, I think van life would be a little bit harder because, then we're thinking about like, okay, well then if I need to work for the day, I can't go sit in a Starbucks or I can't go sit in like a cafe because that's like not a thing right now. So anyways, that was the thing. We went there. I did say hi to Shelby, but that was like the only contact that we did, and like Shelby and I talked about it in advance. But yes, it was stupid. Like, you know, I tested negative before I left. I'm tested negative when we got back, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, I still did it. And I think like once I got there, I was just having this moment of panic and being like, oh my gosh, what am I doing right now? And, you know, of course I was excited to like get out of, like, who isn't excited to get out of their house right now?
Yeah.
So I was excited, but I do think like there was parts of me that it was sort of like a pressure thing, because like Brett was like, we gotta go do something. Cause like, I get it. Everyone's feeling cooped up, but there is like an element of like,
this is our reality right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I should have, stuck up for, you know, myself a little bit more and said like, maybe we'll do this, you know, another time. Maybe, you know, we wait a little bit. But
it's so hard. It's so easy to like look back in hindsight and feel that way. But like in the moment, like you were saying, like you felt like this like unique opportunity that like, you know, isn't truly is not going to exist in the future. Cause like, you know, like we're all living our lives, and
flying was really inexpensive, which like normally I can't really afford to travel. So I don't know. I'm in hindsight, like I'm not glad that I went, but given the whole world right now, but in any other time I would be really glad, because I decided like we probably don't want to move to Austin. So like had we not seen that, it would have definitely, very important, you know, been at the top of our list, and like we would have been. You can't know until you know what I mean?
Yeah,
with stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So our plans have completely changed, which I can't really reveal because again, nothing's written on paper, but we do sort of have more of a game plan now that we did that, and now that like we talked about it more, we kind of experienced like being on the go to some, you know, regard. But yeah, so I do feel like a dodo bird, but I also think like we tried to do everything as responsibly as possible. I was just gonna say, we had like a really unique situation, really being on the plane, and obviously we went into grocery stores while we were there and we got takeout food. There was one night where we, Austin has a lot of outdoor seating, which is really awesome. Yeah. But I will say that, you know, if you live in Texas right now, you're probably experiencing the reality of what I saw there. I definitely noticed a lot of like not following protocols to the extent that we're doing it here in Seattle. Not that Seattle's perfect by any means, but it freaked me out a little bit, I will say. And I was trying to like go with the flow while I was there, and like not freak out at people, you know, just be
I think that like you can't really beat yourself up as like as much as it seems like you might be. Like,
I think I would think differently about it had I not been a person on the internet, because I feel like I'm encouraging people to travel right now, but I'm really not. I'm actually saying like I was a dodo bird and like learn from my mistakes. And especially now, like had it been any sooner than like as of right now, I think people are starting to travel for the holidays, and now is when it's starting to get bad. Like we literally did it like the week before things got really bad.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, the problem is like, you know, just like lines are going to form in airports, and then like all the airport workers are put at risk for like, you know, it's just stuff like that.
It's really,
which you weren't experiencing because you weren't traveling during
the airport
peak
was actually
time
like empty, which was crazy, especially the way there. The way back, I remember feeling like a little bit more like there's a little bit more people, but anyways,
definitely.
Not encouraging travel. I think so. I've held off on. I filmed a couple videos while I was there, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with them anymore, because part of why, you know, I was like excited to film something that's not just me sitting in my bedroom, you know, like I was excited, and then I was like, oh no, you shouldn't be excited about this. And then I kind of sat there halfway on the trip being like just perplexed or like frozen of like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Because I can't film videos while I'm here, but like I should be. And then just feeling the pressure and then not doing anything about it when I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
But, I did film, you know, I recorded a podcast with Shelby while we were there last week. And so I'm going to post that next week.
Exciting.
But
I'm jealous you got to see record a video. Shelby and Madison.
Yeah, which was really, really nice. And again, like we chatted in advance to say like, you know, just want to make sure you're cool with this.
Proper protocols. Like,
But again, like it's shitty because like, of course, what if we're okay with it, but then we're affecting somebody else that we don't even know somehow.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I am being hard on myself, but also like, shouldn't we all be? It's so hard.
Yeah.
I'm also like, I gotta live my life.
You just
but
gotta
also,
understand
like,
that you're doing your best. And like, you literally did do your best. Like, why, like you, sure, maybe the one act of making the decision to travel, like that as an overall concept is like, could be considered your like mistake. But then the way that you approached it and like went about it and like proceeded to do proper things while you were there to like socially distance yourself and keep like others like out of harm as well. Like you were very conscious of your actions and whatnot.
It's not like we were
like,
traveling for complete leisure to just like
and you're
go
not,
out.
like,
We
just
were really
on the
like
lake, like, you know, like you're not doing, you weren't doing all of those things. Like you literally had an objective. You did work things while you were there. Like, I mean, Harley traveled for work as well. Like, I mean, it's hard times for us all. Like decisions have to be made.
Couple weeks, a lot of people have been feeling fatigue from all of everything, like all the protocols.
I mean,
and then now we're realizing like we can't feel fatigue because like as of, you know, the holidays are coming up and like, so one of the things that we want to talk about today, this is supposed to be an episode about Thanksgiving.
Who even knows how long we've been talking for? An hour?
I'll timestamp the whole thing though, so that
it's been a while. Hi guys,
can skip through because we definitely went on a lot of tangents. But the holidays are coming up, and so a really difficult, in conjunction with what we're talking about, like a really difficult decision that my family had to make was we're not going to do anything together. And honestly, it was just kind of one of those things that we didn't really talk about until this week, literally.
Right.
And at first, like it didn't hit me until, especially because we all live in the same city outside of my sister, my immediate, like my aunts and uncles, my cousins, like we all live here. And it wasn't a discussion until this week, and we're not going to do things together. We're all going to do our own little Thanksgiving things. Maybe we'll meet up for like a distant walk together is what we're thinking.
That's cute.
Yeah. But we're still going to try, we're all going to wear like N95s and stay 6 feet apart from each other.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But yeah. And honestly, we haven't talked about Christmas yet.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of on the edge of saying we should also do that for Christmas, which is a hard conversation to have. Again, especially because we all live together. Like I think for you, it was a little bit more like, okay, well, I'd have to fly all the way across the country.
I
like,
mean, it was understood that Thanksgiving was like absolutely, I'd never travel for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But Christmas, that topic was kind of brought up like about last month or so. And the decision was made that I'm just not going to travel for Christmas. Like that's like my parents are even like struggling to figure out how to approach the holidays at home with my siblings that live close and like, you know, somewhat stop by. Like they have like outdoor hangouts, like, you know, every couple weekends or so. So like, they still see each other, and even then they're like, we don't know how to approach this holiday right now. And I think like ultimately what they've come up for Thanksgiving is that they're going to try to keep it outdoors for as much time as possible, whether it rains or not. And then for the actual dinner part, I think they're just going to have every window in the house open and just make it like a quick meal, like as not like a long drawn out situation. And I think like they're gonna get the test I think like 5 or 6 days in advance is the time frame that you're supposed to get it. Like it doesn't actually help if you get it like the day before. You need to have some time for like the incubation period. So that's their strategy that they're going with. And then as far as traveling, like it just doesn't make sense. And especially to me, like I was never worried about myself with this disease. Like, like
definitely.
Like
that's
I don't care. Like I didn't care if I got COVID, but it's the concept of me spreading it to people who like cannot, like their bodies can't fight it the way that I know that my body can fight it at my age, my lifestyle, my diet. Like I know that I'm at a place where I could be okay. And here, like I am. I would never want to go home to like my parents who are in their 60s. And like whether they have like predisposed conditions or not, like that doesn't matter to me. Like they are of that time frame or age range, and I would feel really awful. So the decision has been made that it's just Seattle holidays. I mean, honestly, I pretty much figured. I figured that it's literally going to be
the four of us.
Yeah.
Which you know, 1 year.
Yeah.
We can all take
Also,
1 year.
Friends
We can also
having holidays together.
No,
like that's
I mean,
beautiful.
many people can't
lovely.
do it with their friends though at the same time. But also, I think like 1 year of having stuff different than normal, we're gonna survive. We're gonna get through it. And also, maybe it's an opportunity to do something new and different.
New traditions, new meals.
Last year, we recorded a podcast of us being like, sometimes the holidays are intense, and sometimes being surrounded by family can be emotionally a lot. And normally, I'm feeling that around the holidays. But this year, I'm like, for some reason, emotionally holding on to Christmas when like normally, or whatever holiday you celebrate, when normally I'm like, this is just a really overwhelming time and like it's a lot of pressure and
honestly,
just
it's kind of
judged
nice
by my family. And so like maybe this year could be, I can still do things with my family virtually, and I also can give myself space to create the traditions that I always wanted to create.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, totally. Which like ties into like your feeling of like wanting to decorate but it's like it's a great opportunity to make these times that have been like so rooted in tradition and like, you know, whatever like other people have been doing that put it on you, and then therefore you're doing it. Like now we get to make our own decisions and be like, oh, you don't like mom's sweet potato casserole?
Make your own. Heck it.
It's out of
you might not
rotation.
Even need one.
Nope, but not this Thanksgiving. Although that's my favorite, so that's staying on mine with the marshmallows on top.
I don't think I've ever had one of those.
So American, and
I didn't grow up in this country.
I love it.
No, it definitely
definitely
is. Like
literally,
and also it's not saying that you can't do things with your family still. Like you could definitely, you know, just virtually like
different
Zoom
types of connections.
Or, do something like that. And I don't know. I'm all here for it. I think also if you have family members who are saying to you that, you know, you're saying, I don't want to go to a gathering that they're still trying to throw. That's a whole thing. And I think like it also comes back to what I was saying earlier about like, I feel like I've been in instances where there are other people who are not taking it as seriously as me, and you have to stand up for yourself.
Just
and like
stand your ground.
If somebody's going to judge you for taking care of their health, first of all, and your own health, then you literally like, I don't want to say you don't need them, but
not that you don't need them. You just have to stand your ground and be like, just be home and be like, set your boundary. And if they're going to like harass you on your phone or something, like separate yourself from your phone. Like you just have to be okay in the decisions you're making. Like understand that you have reasoning behind it and it's logical and it makes sense. And if it's not making sense to someone else, like that is something that they need to get over and like figure out and like I don't know, it definitely breaks my heart to think that like families are like being broken up and like or like having genuine fights because
someone
like
trying to keep
not
their
wanting
loved
to come
ones
home
safe
for Christmas when they're like, how dare you, how could you not come home, like it's family. And it's like that's such an awful guilt and burden to have to bear. And I think everyone should just like kind of like feel a release of that and like be not proud, but like stand firm in what you believe in and
also know that like we're right there with you. Like
my heart is broken. I haven't seen my family in over a year. Like that hurts me. I love them so much.
I'm starting to have this realization of like, I think I am going to tell my parents I don't want to gather for Christmas, but it's definitely been a conversation that, you know, my sister's going to fly home for Christmas. And up until this week, I was like, she should either come home now and stay for like a month and a half or just not come at all. And she's saying, you know, I don't think I can get time off of work. I don't think I can do that. And I'm like, then I don't think you should come. Yeah. And I haven't really told her that yet. I guess I will after this, but it's hard because I'm having the realization that I'm probably not going to see my sister this year. Yeah, and exactly. Just all year. I think a lot of people came to terms with that a while ago, and I'm coming to terms with it thinking like this whole year I thought, okay, well, like I'll see you in December.
The reality hitting, you know,
but then the reality is like finally hitting.
Like we're here. Like, wow. We're like, nope, it's not actually happening. Like I won't actually see you guys. Yeah. But that being said, like we will see them someday. Exactly. It's hard because we're like in it right now and we're like we feel darkness and we're like, where is the light? But like it's coming. It will. Even if our new norm is like looks different than what
I also
was pre-COVID.
What's your thoughts on, I thought about this earlier today and I'm gonna throw this on to you live.
Hit me.
What if we, for everyone who's alone, what if we like live streamed for a couple hours?
What, on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because then we could all hang out
I mean, I have no idea what we'll do for a couple hours on screen, but
have a drink together and hang out and chat.
Oh yeah, the two of us who drink so much.
I've never done YouTube live, but on Instagram, like people can come on too. Like we
yeah, totally. Yeah, no, we can. I have no problems.
I feel like I would prefer YouTube, but I've never done a YouTube live.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways,
let's work out. Yeah.
So we can all hang out. So if you're not doing things with your family, we can all still hang out. If you want to hang out with us.
Maybe we can like get crafty or something. Yeah. And, like think of something we can do as class. Well, now that we chatted for 200 hours.
It's funny because like a couple weeks ago we were talking about, we're going to do holiday episodes for all these things. And Thanksgiving was always going to be like, okay, how are we doing this vegan? But now it's just like,
lols, we're doing it vegan because we're just making our own food and it's gonna be dank as hell.
It's gonna be dank.
I'm excited.
It's funny, I didn't realize Thanksgiving was next week. No, I realized it was next week, and recently we were at the store and I was like to Brett, I was like, we should buy one of those. So we were at Trader Joe's. I was like, we should get the Trader Joe's version of the tofurkey because I like either the Trader Joe's ones or the tofurkey. And he picked it up. He was like, there's palm oil in it. And I was like, I didn't know that. And which I also don't know where I stand in that. It is only one meal, but and I would like for him, because I don't really need a tofurkey, even though like it is the greatest meal of the year. Not gonna lie, I love
a tofurkey.
No, more than tofurkey, I love me a good vegan gravy.
Yes,
my family calls vegan gravy vegan gravy.
Yeah.
And then the cranberries became the cranberries. But everything that's vegan at holidays, we're always like, oh, is it vegan?
I could attest to this because I spent the holidays with your family last year and there was a lot of vegan gravy.
Yeah. No, the vegan gravy is the best part of the meal, to the point where so my family is really interesting in that, like, I think I've explained this before on the podcast, but all of the adults in our family, like all the parents. So in Seattle, I have like my parents, and then my aunt and uncle are here as well. And then I have 3 cousins. And I always grew up in a family where all of my cousins are female. Like there's not one boy in our family. Power. It's literally girl power. All the dogs in our families have always been ladies. Girls too. Yeah. Girl power. And out of the 8 of us in the cousinry, which one of the families isn't here, they're back in Canada, because both of us ended up in America, in Seattle of all places, is weird. At different times, 10 years apart. Anyways, but yeah,
it's a great place.
Out of all of the 8 of us, 2 are omnivores, 3 are vegetarian, 1 might actually be vegan now, I'm not really sure, and 1's vegan. So we have like 2 vegans, 3 vegetarian, 2 omnivore children. Yeah. Like it's all the younger ones where most of us don't eat meat.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting because we all did these transitions at different times, at different stages in our life, without speaking to anybody, and just like 5 out of the 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. And so we obviously have a lot of plant-based items at all of our holiday meals.
Love it.
And it's come to the point where all of the omnivores even prefer the mushroom gravy, which is the vegan gravy, that we don't even make animal gravy anymore because they like it so much.
It's so good. Mushroom gravy.
So good.
I'm going to make
part of the meal.
Oh my God. Do you remember?
What? Oh, when I know what you're bringing up. So last year we had a Friendsgiving. I know this is what you're going with, isn't it? Last year we had a Friendsgiving and everybody was in charge of like a couple things, and like me and Tay are the only 2 vegans out of our friends, or I guess there's 3 of us, and we were like pumped to bring something, and we're like, oh well, and by we I mean Tay, because I literally bought a tofurkey and I brought it over.
That was Chrissy.
That was me. But meanwhile, Tay is cooking for 2 days straight, and she's making all of these things, and she's so excited, and she's been talking for weeks about what she was gonna make, and she's really excited about the gravy and the stuffing.
Mushroom gravy.
You were gonna make mushroom gravy from scratch, and she was all excited. It was this whole thing. So we lived where Tay lives now. We lived 3 blocks away from this house, which is where Friendsgiving was.
Yes.
And so we're walking over, and all I have is this tofurkey, and I'm in my heels, and I have my jacket on, and we're in our cute outfits because we're going to Friendsgiving. And I was like, oh, let me carry something that you've slaved over.
I'm holding like mashed potatoes, all these stuffing, things. Gravy.
So I was like, okay, I would love to carry something for you for these 3 blocks that we're going to be walking. And what happened?
The pecan creve took a spill
everywhere, all over the street. All over the street.
So much.
Did you have enough for one serving?
Yeah,
that was it.
There was more than like a little bit more than one serving.
So Tay slaved all day, and then I spilt it on the street. You were pissed at me. I felt pissed. So bad.
I was just so excited to like share the gravy with all of these non-vegans. That was the part I was excited about. But
I felt so bad.
You definitely didn't need to. I would have been more upset if I didn't get any for my meal.
For yourself.
You know, but like the fact that I was able to eat it and like consume it, I was like, it's really fine. It was fine. Like,
long story short, I'm an asshole.
No, it was funny, and I could tell that you felt bad about it, and I was like, I don't want you to feel bad about this. We're at our Friendsgiving. It's quite okay. We're all having a good time.
Well, I think that the sidewalk got to enjoy some.
Oh, the sidewalk got a dank.
We got a dank meal.
It got some good mushroom gravy.
Well, I will say neither of us are vegan. Tay cooks more vegan things than me, so she's probably a better reference. But Sweet Simple Vegan, Jasmine.
No, I go off of.
I always tell everybody to go check out her post around this time of year because she has the best.
Yes, her and
stuff.
Chris absolutely kill it.
Her and Chris kill it. Caitlin's also got great stuff from my bowl on Instagram. They both have great things.
Yeah, even like New York Times has a really good mushroom gravy. New York Times has actually like super stepped up their vegan recipe
have
game.
They? Amazing.
They have like whole categories for vegan Thanksgiving.
Amazing.
And like yeah, definitely. So options are out there, but definitely I guess like leave comments if you want like recipes and stuff. I would love to share whatever I've got if you guys are interested. I don't know what kind of interests you guys have, so yeah.
One thing I don't think I got to in this episode, this is a diverging topic, but the reason that I am looking like this today, if you're wondering, and I really just wanted to mention this because like I know I'm not alone in this. During quarantine, I've had some ups and downs emotionally.
And for sure.
You know, sometimes I wake up and I
not feeling it.
Not feeling anything.
Nope.
Yeah. So
I mean, I happen really to look like this, but I told Christy that today I got up and I did some work and then I went back into bed and didn't get up until like 11 o'clock. Yeah. So, you know, some days are better than others. And then some days you throw a leopard jacket on and make it feel better.
It was like it's been 2 days where I'm just like, meh. So like this I put on yesterday when I woke up. I did take it off to sleep in last night, but I'm saying I'm wearing the exact same outfit I wore yesterday because yesterday I woke up, I was like, I'm going to work out. I'm going to do a little home workout. It's going to be great. And then like 9 p.m. was there and I was like, looks like I didn't do it. Oh, well. And then woke up this morning. I was like, I'm going to do a home workout. It's going to be good.
Not
Here
yet.
we are. It's like 3:30.
Not yet.
That's fine. I will today. But yeah, really just roll out of bed both days.
Who
have
cares?
Been rolling with it, and who cares?
Yeah.
And I know I'm not alone. And
totally,
we're humans. It's life, and it's great.
Definitely.
We have ups and downs.
Yeah. Wow. I've been going to the workshop a lot, and we quite literally like take our clothes off at the door, and then when we want to go back to the workshop, we put the exact same clothes back on.
Wait,
like,
why do you take your clothes off?
They're like filled with metal and like dust shaving, like metal shavings and shit like that.
What are?
Our clothes.
Oh.
So like I'm wearing the exact same clothes every single day for the past like 5 days.
Wait, do you? Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No. Do you put like a jumpsuit on or something?
No, they're just like clothes we've designated as work clothes.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Okay.
So yeah.
Gotcha,
so like
gotcha.
so that we're not getting multiple different clothes so
what I'm
drastically
picturing
dirty.
is I'm picturing you getting to the workshop and then taking your clothes off at the door and then I'm
wrong.
like, well, why are you doing that? You mean when you get home?
When we get home.
Oh, okay.
When we get home from the workshop, take clothes off at the door, and then like literally the next day sometimes we'll get home at like it's 8 p.m. and then the next day if we want to have an early day, we'll like go back to the workshop at like 8:30 in the morning. So like we literally just like took our clothes off to just like put the exact same clothes back on.
Right.
It happens.
Well, this has been a long episode.
Did you guys need to know that? Maybe cut that.
Oh no, it's staying in. I'm not really sure what we got to today, but it feels good to be back. And
hope you guys enjoyed the update. This has just been our lives, and that is that. That's how it works.
I think we'll still record next week, even though. So I do have that episode with Shelby, but I thought I would put it up after this just so that we could explain. I was also feeling bad about being in Texas. Yeah. So that will be up next week, but we'll also record next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
well,
it's been real. It's been fun.
Bye, guys. Stay safe.
Guys.